Welcome back. Our GMC Sierra tweet of the night is from CBS HQ, talking about the age of the remaining quarterbacks. You can see here, the oldest one is Dak Prescott. A lot of guys mid to early 20s. It is the new era of quarterbacking in the NFL. And Andrew, that says a lot about some of these guys and what they're capable of doing. Dak Prescott's on the list at 29, but I would look at him as not one of the guys I would want right now if I had to start a team. Some of those other guys on the list are pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's so important right now that the Steelers take advantage of the next few years when Kenny Pickett is on a rookie contract. That's what you're able to do when you've got a cheap, relatively cheap, inexpensive quarterback. Some of those guys that are on that list, San Francisco has a great roster from top to bottom because they don't have a huge quarterback contract. Garoppolo is right in the middle as far as quarterback salaries go. Mahomes is big money, but he's a transcendent player. Guys like Trevor Lawrence, Jalen Hurts, these are players on Daniel Jones. These are guys on rookie deals with the salary cap. It's easier to build a total team that way. And that's why, rebuilding this year with the Steelers, but you cannot have that excuse next year and the next couple of years with Kenny Pickett as you have him for just a few $1 million, Bob. I mean, it is a steal. Look at Joe Burrow last year. He allows you to have Chase and Higgins, and you're able to spend on free agent defense and offensive line. Exactly.
Yeah, so that's what you have to do. And you have money to spend this year, and there are going to be some guys, especially at inside linebacker, they may look at. I want to just get to this before I get to the phone calls. I see Sauce Gardner. I see 2 Jets, 2 Seahawks in the final 6 for Rookie of the Year. I think Woolen is really terrific. I give more, to me, the way I look at it, and this is not the way most people do, if you're not a first-round pick, you get more credit for me. I like Woolen because he was a 5th-round pick, and I thought he outperformed Sauce Gardner. At least in my mind, he did. One guy's not on the list is Brock Purdy, and he's penalized because he hasn't played a whole year. But to me, you're in the most important position in the field on a team that has high expectations, and there's no other answer. You have to be it. I think he should be on that list.
Well, he definitely came to the rescue and saved their season. So from that standpoint, I agree with you. I think Kenneth Walker in Seattle, I think you kind of mentioned him. He had a couple of 100-yard games in those last 2 weeks. Without his production, the Seahawks don't make the playoffs, and he was the best rookie running back. Hey, Ben won it his rookie year. It wasn't because he put up gaudy stats. It was because when Tommy Maddox went down, he never lost. He was perfect. He was playing great complementary football for that Steelers team with the defense and run game. And I think Purdy has done similar things. I think what Purdy did is more impressive than what some of the receivers did, like Olave and Wilson, because he had to basically not screw up a Super Bowl team and not have that team lose faith or confidence in him. And he did that brilliantly.
Yeah, I thought so. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens this coming weekend. I do think Dallas got the short end of the stick, but hey, that's life in TV world because now the money talks, and it always does. Let's go to the lines, Andrew. We'll begin with Nick, our number 1 Cochran Go One Better Call of the night. Nick in Indiana, go right ahead.
Oh, hi, guys. My question is, as bad as the offense play calling was last year, are they going to keep Matt Canada around next year?
I think it's still undecided at this point. Mark Cabali had tweeted something today that Mike Tomlin has put on hold a lot of his decision-making and don't know the reason, personal reasons given. Matt Canada is still there right now. There are a lot of openings. Byron Leftwich is dangling barely. Nothing official from them, but the reporting is that he'll be gone. There are a lot of other guys out there too, Andrew. I don't know that they're going to make a move here. I think they may be content with what they have. I thought all along they would. The longer this goes, the more it makes me think they won't.
Do you think if they bring him back, it'll be a mistake?
Myself personally, yes, unless he evolves, unless there's more to see from his playbook. If it's the same stuff, I don't like it. I think you need to attack middle of the field. I think you need to do a lot of things that make guys free up, scheme them to get free so they can run when they catch the ball. I haven't seen enough of that. It's normally down the sidelines, and that's pretty much it. You don't see very much over the middle of the field. So I want to see more of that kind of stuff. And if he has it, show it. If he doesn't, then they should move on from it. But, I don't know at this point what the answer is. And the longer it goes, would you not agree that most likely he'll be back?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Kaboli report changed my thinking a little bit. I thought that if Matt Canada were employed today, that would guarantee that he'd be back next year. But apparently they had to put off player meetings and stuff for this Tomlin matter. My understanding is that the player meeting started back up today. So maybe we do know for sure tomorrow or maybe late Thursday what's going on with Canada. I think it would be a total disaster if he's back. You just watch the NFL playoffs over the weekend. People say it is Jimmys and Joes over X's and O's for the most part. Talent is a big deal. But what was Daniel Jones, Bob, before Brian Dable showed up?
A guy who wasn't going to get his fifth-year option, and now they're going to have to make do with that and try to figure out a way to keep him, I guess. But you're right.
Exactly.
It changed his entire arc in terms of where he is in his career.
What would Brock Purdy be without Kyle Shanahan's coaching? I don't think he'd be very good. I think he would be on a practice squad, or he might not even be in the NFL now.
I won't go that far. He's shown me a lot. I don't want to go that far, but you're right. I mean, it's...
Bob, I think if you put Mitch Trubisky in that offense, they'd have the same results.
Maybe, but I still think you got to do it. And there's a lot of ad-libbing I saw from his game last week.
No doubt. I mean, the moment hasn't been too big for him, but he's throwing to wide open guys. How often do we see Steelers wide receivers wide open? It never happens.
That's why I said you
their
got to
run after the
scheme
catch
to
is the
them.
worst in the league. Their big playmaking is the worst in the league. And they've got skilled guys. Pickens, Freiermuth. They gave Johnson all that money. There's no excuse. It seems like it's so hard for them to move the ball. It has to be so 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Like it takes so much to score a touchdown. And very few teams are like that in the NFL, Bob. The teams that are like them are firing their offensive coordinator right now.
It's very methodical, and when you do it that way, you better score touchdowns at the end of it. If you don't, it's really a problem. And they did not score enough points this year. That's why Leftwich is going to be on his way out. They did not score enough. A lot of people I know have talked about him.
I'd take him.
I don't know if I would. I think there are probably other guys out there that I would probably look to or at least consider. I would not make this a slam dunk if he were available. I know there's a relationship between the Steelers, specifically Mike Tomlin and him, and that's fine. I know Omar Khan likes him. But I also think there are other qualified guys around who would love the opportunity, and I think he'd owe it to himself to go and look and bring people in and talk and discuss and go over all the lists that he has in front of him.
I don't disagree with that at all, Bob, but let me ask you this. If we were having this conversation last year at this exact time, and I said the Steelers could get Byron Leftwich as their offensive coordinator, would you have taken him in a heartbeat?
No, because I thought most of what happened down there was Tom Brady. That's just me. I thought this offense...
But they were third in scoring with famous Jameis.
I understand that. But I think that
so
was Bruce Arians.
So who gets the credit there? You're going to give my guy Jameis the credit for that,
I'm going to give Bruce Arians the credit there. I think... When Bruce Arians, I think he had a lot to do with all of this. Once that departed, I think it was Byron Leftwich on his own. I don't want to, I think I'm not trying to say he's not qualified. What I'm trying to say is I haven't seen in the last 2 years specifically scheming. It was more Tom Brady. That's just the way I look at it. I may be completely wrong, but that's the way I saw it. So, and this year you saw Tom Brady didn't have a good year, and as a result, the numbers weren't good, and there was no compensation for that. So either he's on or he's not, and if he's not, then show me something else, and I didn't see it. That's just me.
Well, he'd be a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator, and to me, that is a far cry from what they have right now. Is he necessarily the most complete candidate? Possibly not, but if I had to choose one or the other, Leftwich or Canada, that's a no-brainer for me. Give me the guy who I'm trying to come up with the reasons why he's not good versus the guy who's never been good as an NFL offensive coordinator.
I get the feeling, though, you take just about everyone over Matt Canada right now, though. So,
the proof is in the pudding, Bob. Look at the results.
Well, there are
They've
a lot
been
of guys.
pathetic for 2 years.
You know what? You know what a new pastime is? Hating offensive coordinators. Everybody in the league hates them anymore. All their fan bases. Greg Roman is going to be out probably in Baltimore through no fault of his own, because people are yapping and players are yapping now. I mean, offensive coordinator like, head coaches, like goalies, like people that get targeted a lot, it's going to be the first line that you get to. And that's just the way it is. That's why you see 7 openings now, possibly, Andrew. I just think there's everyone, let me ask you something. How do you fire the passing coordinator of the Chargers based on what happened in that game last week? And if it was simply that game, because they didn't run the ball at all, they threw the ball, and that has to be someone beyond his, pay level making those decisions. Why would he get fired too? That doesn't make sense to me,
that's a
does it?
scapegoat situation. Somebody was going to have to bear the brunt of that loss, and they picked him. I mean, it's the same. I know that Todd Haley, it was more about his relationship with Ben, but he had the same thing happen to him, Bob. He scored 40 points in a playoff game, and he got shown the door.
Yeah,
so
I know. It's
happens.
the way it goes. That doesn't mean it's the right move, but we'll see. There's a lot of stuff coming up here in the next couple of weeks for sure. We'll take a break, Andrew. Come back with more right here on Pittsburgh CW and 93.7 The Fan. It's the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.